All right, we're recording. We're live. Welcome everybody. Happy Friday. It is another episode of Putazos y Pendejadas. Excuse me. It's your boy David D. We have Danielle Perkins. Everybody say hi to Danielle. There you go. And of course, my main man Mark Salinas is in the house from South Texas. How
Mark
you doing,
Salinas from
sir?
South Texas. Good,
Yeah,
good.
bring,
Big weekend.
bringing out that facial hair. I see you, brother.
New mustache. It's got
New
white. I didn't
mustache.
know. I didn't know.
New look.
I'm barely growing it. I got some white in it, but we'll take care of that. Fully grows out just a little coloring.
Get the salt and pepper out.
Yeah. I'm going for the
I can't,
Chicano.
bro. I got too much of that indigenous blood. I can't really do the facial hair like
Yeah.
you, man.
You
But
got
go
that
ahead
that
with the
junior.
European genes, my man.
You got the junior high peach fuzz.
Hey, man. I keep it lined up. I keep it lined up.
All right, man. Let's
Um,
get going.
yeah. So, we got definitely some fights to talk about this weekend. We got a couple cards actually to keep our eye on. I'd like to start with the Showtime card. Of course, we have Rolando Rolly Romero, and he's in against Ismael Barroso, who's from Venezuela, tough part of the world, especially right now. And Barroso is a replacement for Alberto Puello, who was the original champion at 140 or held that title at 140. And he had been suspended, so he was taken off the card. Barroso came in to replace him last minute. Um, Couple notes about Barroso: 40 years old, he's 24-3 and two with two draws and 22 KOs. So, like many South American fighters, we know he packs a punch. But the age, that's got to be again. He doesn't have a lot of fights on his ledger, so he could be a fresh 40. But looking kind of suspect. Did you guys see him at the press conferences? They kind of dressed him up to look like an old b-boy, right? Did you see that?
Yeah,
It's a little
yeah.
sad. It's a little sad. Um,
I
The
didn't think
shaded
he thought he was
glasses.
gonna be on TV. I don't think he was gonna. I didn't. It's almost like he
Ah.
didn't think anybody else was gonna notice.
right. Yeah. So, yeah. Or maybe they were trying to make him look hip. I don't know what was going on there, but I got a couple uncles that still rocked, the jumpsuits from the '80s. So I was like, is that my Theo? What's going on there? Well, what do you guys feel about this? Do you think Barroso comes in with a chance to upset the apple cart here? Rolly is definitely favored to win this fight because he's got a lot of big things lined up if he does.
Go ahead, Danielle.
All right, so the way that Ishmael fights is like perfect for Rolly to get a knockout. The guy comes forward a lot, and he comes forward aggressively, and he shoots this very awkward backhand shot to the body that leaves him open for that straight punch that Rolly shoots like all the time. So it, if it did this fight goes, 5 rounds, I'd be disappointed.
Wow. So early in the early night for him, huh? What about you, Mark? What do you think?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, I wish we would have seen the other fight. I really thought Puello may have had a chance, but unfortunately, he got caught with PEDs, which you really shouldn't do in pro boxing. You could really, really hurt somebody. These guys are trained, professionals, and they got careers ahead of them. You can really mess up their career. So that, just wanted to point that out. That's really, really horrible. I don't like when I hear people doing PEDs. My personal favorite, Oscar de la Hoya, was affected by it a few times with Shane. Won't talk about that right now because David's gonna get mad. But
Hey, I'm pro
yeah,
Oscar, bro. I'm pro Oscar.
Barraso, they brought him in, and an interesting thing about him, it really doesn't have much to do about boxing, but they were talking to Rolly a few moments ago on the weigh-in, and I don't know if you heard this, Daniela. We were watching some weigh-ins earlier. Um, he was talking about how tough this kid is, and he's a Latino fighter. He's Venezuelan. They actually murdered Barroso's wife at his last weigh-in. It's a violent country. This is a tough dude, and he's been through a lot. His family's been through a lot. Obviously, his wife got murdered at the last weigh-in. I'm happy that if there has to be stand in for this. He deserves it. He needs a little bit of money he's gonna get for this fight. He's not gonna get a big purse, but it's gonna be something, for him and his family. That was an interesting story I heard. That is a violent country, but yeah, Rolly will beat him. I'm happy that this one's gonna go down because on the other one I was scared for Rolly. He's got a suspect chin, and Puello was tough. This guy's tough too, but Rolly should be able to take him out, and we can stay at ease that we have bigger fights coming with Rolly because everybody loves him and his personality. Me and Danielle were talking earlier. What was your favorite quote of his?
Back-to-back World War champs.
USA, back-to-back.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely a character. He's definitely a character. I'm looking forward to him. He sells tickets. I like the guy. I don't think he's one of your top-tier guys, but he's a huge name, and he works really hard. He looks kind of dry. He looked very. I don't know if you saw the way, and his face looked very skeletonish, but he's got Barroso. So
I don't know how that guy even made 135. He must have cut a foot off and then put it back on after he got off the scale. I saw an interview with him after the weigh-in today, and he was chugging his thermos. He had a big old thermos, and he was just chugging it in, mid-interview. He's just taking big gulps of it. So he said even making 140 is tough for him, and he would like to go to 147 after this fight. Yeah, and he's got his eye on Spence. I think that's a bit of a pipe dream. He doesn't want. I don't think he really wants that. I mean, Rolly's crazy, right? He's down. The guy thinks he knows what he wants, but I got to say that even the cut to 140 looked like it's going to be tough. And he mentioned he would only return back to 140 if he wins this fight. He'd only return back to 140 if there was a big pay-per-view event for him to take part in. And the big names that are mentioned, Garcia, who De La Hoya earlier this week mentioned, I want to set that up. If Rolly wins today, I want Garcia to fight him, and then he wants a rematch with Tank. So those are really the only two pay-per-view fights at 140 that would happen for him. But yeah, it's still a huge cut for him. So I don't know what 147 is going to look like for Rolly. You know what? One other thing I've heard about the guy, people may not be familiar with this. There's some people who think he's kind of corny or whatever, but he's actually a really good dude to the fans. He gives out shirts. He takes a lot of time to, do autographs and take pictures with people. So really good guy outside of the ring when it comes to boxing people. So yeah, I'm kind of seeing this as not a setup, but they're definitely trying to put him in a position to take advantage of one of those big fights. But to your point, Mark, when this guy right now, Barroso, he's not fighting just for this title. He's trying to set up his life, right, with this fight. And he knows if he wins this fight, he's either got a rematch coming with bigger money, or he's going to get one of those big title shots or a big fight with one of those stars that we mentioned before.
And a gang of emotions behind him after what happened to his wife and all.
And to even go back to another weigh-in after that?
I wouldn't.
Right.
Not in Venezuela.
Well, yeah, definitely not there.
What about Pitbull? Nobody wants to fight the boogeyman.
Who's that?
Pitbull.
Well, I like him, and I like what he did against Tank. But what has he done since? He hasn't done anything.
He won a belt.
Yeah, against who? Do you know the guy beat?
Yeah, but I mean, nobody wants to fight him. And he took the Tank fight with 2 weeks of prep. Finished the fight. Who else? Right. Name another fight that has finished the fight in the last couple of years.
Right. No, good point. I want the guy, but I mean, I think you got to build off of that. He's got a buzz going with especially the Latino crowd and the Latino fans. Yeah, they're waiting for him to take on a big fight, and I mean, I don't think I think he's aiming a little too high right now with like a Tank rematch. You gotta clamor for it, right? I think you gotta make people clamor for it, and I don't know, like you gotta take on somebody else. You gotta take on somebody else.
Keyshawn and Pitbull, that would be a good fight.
Ooh, that would be
Yeah.
that would be a good fight.
Yeah.
But then, wow, I didn't even think about that. But then, isn't Keyshawn with Top Rank?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't play nice. They don't play nice. The
I
whole promoter. For those that, sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I said it won't be Shakur, so
yeah.
Why not Keyshawn?
Yeah. The politics in the game right now it's so bad. Like there are so many possible matchups that could be happening. And it doesn't even have to be like championship level. Like we can get some really good fights on the contender level. And it's just boxing is so fractured right now. I think it's really hurting the sport because we're missing out on some good stuff. I really like that fight, Keyshawn and Pitbull.
That would be a excellent fight.
Going on to the next fight. Actually, that's kind of really the only one I want to talk about on the Top Rank card. On the Showtime card. I do want to get onto the Top Rank card. We have Janibek taking on Stephen Butler. This is a pretty good middleweight fight. Actually, this Top Rank card's looking really solid. It has 2 world championship fights on it. What are your thoughts on Janibek? Are you familiar with him, Danielle?
No, but I know Kazakhstan boxers are very good. They're very good boxers, and they can fight.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people out of that region, right?
They can fight.
Yeah, no, seriously. A lot of the Eastern European fighters, like fighting is a way of life for them, like on the daily. I hear, I read a lot about Beterbiev and how GG grew up, and like they just grew up having street fights. Like that's normal for them. And boxing was a way to kind of get away from. They went to boxing to get away from fighting on the street, and yeah, that kind of tells you all you need to know about these guys. They're raised tough, and they don't play, and they have a really good amateur system out there too. So
yeah, Kazakhstan and Ukraine.
Right, another one. That's another.
They have some great boxers coming out of there, like a lot of good pros.
Have you boxed any fighters from those countries?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the same on the women's side.
No. I think the women are tougher over there. They got to deal with the men.
They're tough, but I guess they don't deal with a lot of people from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn in itself got its own tough people. This is a real interesting fight for me. I think Stephen Butler's been around. He's a solid contender. But Janibek also struggled in his last fight. Did anybody see Janibek's last fight?
I didn't see his last fight.
You didn't see it? Yeah, he struggled a little bit. It's always good to go rounds. You can't expect everybody to get KOs. And I think definitely getting more rounds, it helps sharpen the blade. But he heard the boo birds a little bit, and a lot of the critics saying, what happened to Janibek? Everybody was afraid to fight him. So I'll be looking for a kind of a performance to kind of wipe out the memories of that last fight.
Stephen Butler is still pretty dangerous.
Yeah, he's no joke. He's
32-3.
Yeah, no, he's a solid fighter. I definitely think the Top Rank has a really even matched card here with all of their fights. At least the 2 double headers that we're going to see. There's also another double header with, a championship fight at the bantamweight level. I believe that's 118 pounds. So the smaller guys. I'm a big fan of the lighter weights, by the way. I don't know about you guys, but I grew up watching a lot of the lightweight fighters, the featherweights, bantam. Even who was Mark Too Sharp Johnson was one of my favorite fighters. You remember him? He was 115 fighter. He was really awesome. So we have Jason Mayhem Maloney, 25-2 with 19 KOs out of Australia against Vincent Astrolabio. And he's 18-3 with 13 KOs, and he's from the Philippines. He's supposed to be a really big guy for the weight. So that's going to be an interesting fight as well. Anybody got an opinion on that one?
Yeah, Jason Maloney take that one. Vincent Astrolabio, yeah, he's from the Philippines. I believe he lives in Sacramento now. The fights are going to be in Sacramento. He is like a hometown favorite out there, but he has a few losses, and I don't think he's ever fought the level of competition that Mayhem is. Mayhem's going to take him, and that's going to set up a fight with another champ there. There may be something with Bam Bam, but I don't know.
Oh,
Bam Bam can go from 108 to 118. I mean, he's
Flexible.
maybe not 108, maybe 112 to 118.
He's at 112 right now, right?
I think Jason Maloney wins, and he's in there with Bam Bam, or maybe an Estrada, or something big. Down the line, that's a setup for him right there. But I'd like to see him and Bam Bam. I think he would give Bam Bam a good fight, because Bam Bam was feeling himself a little bit. He didn't have a good showing the last time, because he's freaking awesome. And I think it went to his head just a little bit. He was able to win, but if he's facing Maloney after this, he needs to buckle up again and be what he was about 3-4 fights ago.
You know what? I think people being a little hard on Bam Bam. I mean, he was looking super natural for a little while. He had a really great run. But you can't slight people. Like, the talent's there. We know the guy's talented, and you never know what your opponent is bringing into the ring. Like, a lot of people didn't expect his opponent to give him that much trouble, but like, some guys are more motivated.
Yeah.
And you might not see a guy that you see on tape might not be the same guy that you see in the ring. For the same reason that we were talking about Barroso, Brawley's opponent, right?
Yeah.
They know what's ahead of them. If they win this fight, doors open up.
Yeah,
and same thing for Canelo, right? A lot of people trashing Canelo for his last fight against Ryder. Ryder was highly motivated. No one's ever stopped the guy. So, like, or not? Has anybody even knocked him down? I don't think he's even been knocked down.
No.
But either way,
you're supposed to be the guy.
Huh?
You bring the fight to your hometown.
Yeah.
And you've been knocking everybody else out all over the world, and now you come home. We've been waiting for this knockout, and especially against a guy who's never been down. Fantastic. Do it here. Do it home. Do it for the fans. Get the knockout. We're taking everybody out. We're gonna party tonight.
No, it definitely would have been a huge statement if he had done that. But he dominated the guy. The guy was never in the fight at all.
That's expected about you. Supposed to win. It's almost like, you have a JV team play the Lakers and they don't blow them out. Why do I even come to this game? You won. You won, but destroy this team.
You want to see it get dunked on,
right? Yeah. All alley-oops, all game, but.
But it's still at the end of the day, he did what he needed to do with the opponent that he had. The guy was highly motivated. Mark was expecting an early round KO. I think even Canelo was kind of said, "Yeah, I'm thinking of stopping this guy around the 5th round." I thought it was going to go over. The over was 8 rounds. I saw it going past that. But I also expected Ryder to get KO'd. So, I wasn't totally let down with it. Overall, Canelo looked pretty sharp. I didn't see too much slippage in there. Just compared to his last performances, I think the guy is still the cream of the crop at 168. And I don't know that there's anybody right now who is really a threat Although like Benavidez looks good, he looks like he could be something. I wasn't that impressed with the Caleb Plant fight. I mean, he had a guy that was tired at the end of the rounds, right? The last 4 rounds, Caleb's gasping for air. He's and Benavidez couldn't step on the gas and finish him. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But again, do I want to see Benavidez Canelo? Sure. I just think Canelo has bigger fish to fry at the moment, and we'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, that's it. And Top Rank does have a pretty interesting undercard, and even the fights that aren't televised. Gabriel Flores is on the undercard. Remember him? He was gone a freaking path, and then he lost 2 fights.
Yeah,
and but he should. They set him up to be all right. He's fighting a guy that's got 12 losses, so they're gonna try to get him back into. He's 27. He's already a little bit older. He needs to start getting the second half of his career going.
The problem is the guy really doesn't have pop, right? Like that's kind of the main. He doesn't have pop. He fights with passion, and he fights. He has some good skills, but it still seems a little green to me.
Yeah, the same thing with Ruben Villa. Ruben Villa is fighting on that card. He fought Navarrete, really good fighter out of Salinas, California, and he got knocked out as well. But also really good technique and no power. Also, Gabe Flores, they're around from the same area, Salinas, Sacramento, all that. You, Danielle, know a little bit about one of the guys who just missed the televised portion of it, Javier Martinez. Tell us what you know about him.
Yeah, Javi. I was on Team USA with Javi, Milwaukee made. I've always liked Javi's style. He's a very good boxer. He struggled a little bit on Team USA. I think it's because of the tournament style really doesn't suit a lot of people when you go overseas, because it's like you got to adjust very, very quickly because it's just the way it's built,
Like how many times do you have to fight within a tournament? Like, is it one night and you fight again the next night, or?
So it could be like 2 nights in a row. Then there's a break for like semis, and then you'll go into the finals.
Okay, yeah, that is tough.
But I mean, that's the heavier weights. The lighter weights, we could land, and it could be like opening ceremony, and they fight tomorrow, and they could have like 5-6 fights to get to the championship.
Yeah.
He's 8-0, but is he fighting an 8-rounder? He's fighting an 8-rounder, right?
Yeah, Javi's fighting an 8-round. I think Javi has a lot of opportunity to be impressive, but he's not a knockout puncher.
He's a newer Top Rank guy.
Mm-hmm. No, he's a good fighter. He's also got a lot of grit. He's tough. He's a tough guy. So
it's scheduled for 8 rounds.
Yeah,
he's up against another undefeated fighter too.
Yeah, Javi's pretty good.
Oh, that's a shame that we're not going to get to check that out. They might have the stream. Sometimes they do it on ESPN Plus where they'll show the preliminary bouts. So we'll have to look into that. So definitely keep our eye out for Javier Martinez. I actually have a homeboy named Javier Martinez back from high school.
Yeah, Javi's pretty good.
And then next weekend, we kind of look forward a little bit. We have Katie Taylor and Chantelle Cameron
big fight
going at each other. Huge fight for women.
Huge, man. Big. In the UK, this is going to blow up in the UK. It's going to be huge.
Yeah. Again,
it's for all the marbles. It's for all the belts.
Well, what's really impressive is Katie Taylor she's the undisputed champ at 135. She's moving up a division to fight the undisputed champ at 140. Danielle, you remember our last conversation? I said, like, I'm really starting to get into women's boxing now because the women are doing it. Like, they're making these big fights that we're not seeing in men's boxing. And this is another example of it. Like, you have an undisputed champ in one division fighting the undisputed champ at another division. That's big time stuff right there. And again, it's not just there's substance to it because these are real fighters, and you're getting a lot for your money when you tune into a women's boxing match.
Yeah, these girls have been into with some monsters. Katie, the last two fights, Carvajal and Serrano, Serrano, so she was in tough twice, really tough. And now she's going against Chantelle, who's another really tough opponent. And Chantelle, too, she throws down with a lot of big timers. She fought Victoria last. She fought Bustos before that. Um, these girls don't avoid each other. I don't. There's no protecting. They just throw them out there against giants. You get a wolf and a wolf. Let's go. And that's what I like about women's boxing. It's like college sports. It's just It's just better to watch. I like to watch college football because it's more. It's on more pride, and women's boxing is the same. It's just all about, it's us and against the world, and they beat the hell out of each other, and they genuinely love each other afterwards. It's not like the guys. The guys don't love each other.
There's a respect factor.
No, Eric Morales was throwing a water bottle on Marco Antonio Barrera's dad's head, man.
All right, but okay, wait a minute. There's beef there, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if Danielle, if you remember.
There was beef.
What about Usyk? When Usyk beat Joshua the last time, and he threw all the belts.
Yeah, that's some disrespectful stuff.
And then when Joshua beat what's that guy's name? He fought last. Was it Fitzpatrick, the dude from Detroit? His last fight.
Harris.
You saw the end of the fight, Anthony Joshua. So
yes, that was his first fight with Derek James.
James, he pushes him. Then he comes across the ring, shelled up. The fight's over, bro. Like, he didn't knock him out. It's over.
Okay, Anthony Joshua has been a little unhinged lately. I think just going back to the Ruiz fight, it's kind of hyperventilating before. Supposedly, is hyperventilating before the fight. Something's going on up there. All right, so give my man a pass. But point taken. Like, yes, the men can be jerks even after a fight, but you still see a lot of respect coming in after. But you're right. Women are definitely
right now, for like me and you boxing heads that we want to see good fights. The women's boxing is where to go. We think about this one, Danielle, and don't give us a prediction yet because this is a big one. We're gonna do another show next week. Hopefully you join us. But what do you think about this one?
Okay, so I really like Katie Taylor. I like Katie Taylor a lot. I watched Chantelle when she fought Jessica Maskill, and she's frustrating. She can frustrate a fighter. She can be frustrating. She also sometimes throws some unorthodox punches. She throws in volume. The difference between the two of them is accuracy. Like, Katie, you can tell, spends a lot of time being as accurate as possible and taking her time dissecting a person round after round, and that's what makes her the $1 million prize fighter that she is. Because when it turns around to be towards the end of the fight, she's still carrying on with precision and not letting her. Like what my coach would say, fatigue makes a coward of us all. Yes. Right. And so Katie actually does a really good job managing that and also kind of keeping her composure even when she's under pressure. And I'm not sure if I haven't seen Chantelle under pressure in any of her fights. Usually she takes the fight to people and kind of crowds her punches a little bit. But she doesn't mind getting into that space where it's just like, we're going to just be hitting each other at this point.
Right.
Yeah. Man, both undefeated, both monsters. They're both putting it all on the line. It's going to be a huge event. I mean, I even think the weigh-in is going to be pretty big out there. I don't know, where is the actual fight's going to be? Where's it going to be?
It was going to be in Ireland, right? This fight was originally for Amanda Serrano. This was the rematch.
Yes, but she got hurt.
Yeah, but now she's fighting under the Heat in Dallas for all the belts.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
are you going to go to that one?
It's going to be in Dublin. Yeah, her Chantelle Cameron's going to and Katie Taylor, they're going to fight in Dublin.
I think
the arena.
The biggest celebrities in Ireland, like one.
Oh yeah.
Well, doesn't
all the,
Conor McGregor go to her fights, right? Like he even shows up.
Everybody goes to her fights.
Everybody, yeah.
she's
Soccer
22
players.
and 0, right?
She's what?
22 and 0, right? She's 22 and 0.
Yeah, 22 and 0, 6 KOs.
Man, that's a solid record, man. That's a
She's
solid
tough.
record.
She is tough. I remember when she fought Cindy Serrano, and Jordan came across the ring post fight and got in Katie's face and said, "Amanda's gonna knock you out."
Oh.
Amanda's gonna watch it. It's on the zone. He walks across the room. Across the ring, and Jordan's a big guy. He lets her know, Amanda's gonna knock you out. You just wait.
Well, that was a hell of a fight, though.
So Taylor has a win on two sisters? Oh, they need to get some get back.
They tried.
It'll happen. They're gonna do the rematch. I know that, right? That's gonna happen.
Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting. Has that ever happened? Has anybody ever beat?
I'm not sure if
siblings?
That's probably like some boxing Jeopardy question,
right?
Yeah.
Damn,
that's crazy.
I mean, I think about all the great siblings, right? There was the Marquez brothers, Klitschko's.
I'm about to say the Klitschko's. I did because David Hay fought
Carlos.
one. He wanted to fight the other one.
Who did?
Carlos.
David Hay.
Yeah.
He fought one of the Klitschko brothers, and he wanted to fight another.
He wanted to fight he would have got creamed by Vitaly. Vitaly was a monster. Sure. And they used to revenge. They used to do that, right? If one person beat the other one, the other one would go get revenge.
The other one, the older brother, was the best one.
He was the best one. I liked Vitaly a lot. That fight with Lennox was wow. That was
got knocked out. He always got beat up.
Yeah.
Big bro had to come clean up for him, right?
Yeah, he's like, he beat me up. He knocked me out.
Yeah. Who was it? It was him.
I'm gonna call my brother. You just wait, Dad. You just wait. I'm coming right back.
Yeah, and then Charlos. I'm sure there are more. We're missing. Oh, the Ruelas brothers.
The Ruelas brothers.
Ruelas.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they fight in the same division.
Nah, not
they were close. though. They were close.
Yeah. Same thing with the Charlos. The Charlos,
they actually are. They're really close in the same. They might know.
I think they choose on purpose to be in different.
Right, they try to be separate so that they don't ever have to entertain those discussions.
But it's not that much weight in between them, so they could technically fight the same.
They're kind of at a traffic stop right now because one brother's staying at Jamal is 160, Jermel is 154. He's already unified the titles, and now it's like, I'm ready to move up, bro. What are you ready to do? And then Jamal's like, nah, I'm still chilling at 160, man. So, right?
Wow, so that's so. And the Serranos are not. I know they're Latinos. They're not Mexican, right?
Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
They're still that's. And then Taylor's Irish, right? Well, Catholic wars, man.
Yeah, but remember, she's Puerto Rican. In New York City, fights at the Madison Square Garden. You're not gonna get.
There's no hometown advantage there, right?
No.
None.
Nah, man, the Irish roll deep over here, bro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, so it was legit. That's why it was so crunk in the arena at the time. It was packed. It was sold out. They had both sides had their people show up.
Oh yeah, the Irish show up.
Yeah,
they will fly in. You'll find the whole Irish neighborhoods is emptied out. They're like Katie Taylor. People don't even care about boxing. Show up.
Right. You remember John Duddy? Do you guys remember John Duddy? He was Top Rank was trying to push him. He was a boxer he was Irish. He was from Ireland, and he had a good punch, but he's clearly pretty limited in his talent. But it didn't matter. He sold out MSG. He was a big ticket seller. Top Rank really wanted him to work out, but it just didn't.
No, I think boxing is dominated between North America, South America, Central America. Everybody on the other side, I don't know, man. They can't.
Well, you mean the pain? I mean, boxing is a worldwide
It's a worldwide sport, but it's dominated by North America, South America,
Well, yeah,
Central America.
everybody wants to come fight here.
Well, I mean, the
They can't
promoters
beat
are
him.
here, like the big money.
Yeah.
I mean, and now Eddie Hearns is changing that, and then you
Yeah.
Yeah, UK is making a comeback with his own big time. And they have their own stars. They don't care about us over here. They got their
they
own
won't
thing
even
going
come
over
over.
there.
They're like,
No, they got their big
Yeah.
stars. They probably make more money over there. They got their legends. They got their Prince now teams over there.
I mean, didn't
Yeah.
Ricky Hatton like have 30 fights before he even came to the States?
Yeah.
Right,
Even
he
Prince.
was-
Prince came late too.
Prince came late.
so did Canelo. Canelo had like what 15, 20 fights before he came and fought in America.
Yeah, but I mean, he started at 15.
I know, but 15, he was knocking out grown men.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, he could have been ready. But I mean, the first time I saw him was on a solo book sale. I don't know if you remember Solo Book Sale. There's a Mexican channel. They used to have fights every Friday. It was really great because it gave dates for those young up and coming fighters, right? You didn't have to wait for your break on HBO. So Canelo fought Golden Johnson, and that was a tough fight. And I was like, who's this Mexican kid with the freckles? Like, he looks like an Irish dude.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know I had seen Golden Johnson fight before, so I'm like, well, it's very rare to see seasoned veterans on the Solo Book Sale. And that was a good throwdown. And I remember thinking, hey, this young kid's pretty good. He's got some talent. And he won the decision, obviously, but it was a tough fight. It was actually really close. So anyway, point is, yes, fighters definitely take a while when they're in a good situation. They take a while before they come to States, but everybody eventually wants to come here.
Yeah, for sure.
Even Tyson Fury, he wanted to fight in Vegas. That was his big thing. I want to fight in Vegas.
Well, I mean, that's like boxing, like the boxing pinnacle. It's like doing your homage. You're like, I gotta fight in Vegas before this is over.
Right. Yeah. That's like the bucket list kind of thing, right? So yeah, really exciting. Definitely exciting fight. Can we go over some news and notes?
Boxing.
Top it off. One thing that occurred just a couple of days ago, I was really excited to hear about this. Virgil Ortiz out of Grand Prairie, Texas, fighting I'm gonna butcher this name. Aymantas Staniones. I'm trying to say it in Spanish. This fight is actually going to be a really good fight. I've seen tape on Staniones. That guy can bang. He's got a really active style. He's really crisp with his shot. He tries to crowd you. He comes in forward all the time, but he comes behind the jab, and he has this really cool combination that I like. He throws a quick left hook to your body and then a straight right after that. It's really nice, and he lands it a lot. He's pretty accurate with it. And I just see that fight, Staniones' style with Ortiz's style, it's going to mesh really, really well. That fight is slated for July 8th, and it'll be in Arlington, Texas.
Oh, yeah, that might be a good fight to go to for sure.
Yeah, I if I can make it, I might be out of town. I might be doing something. No, I'm definitely going to be somewhere when that happens. But if I am in the area, I'm definitely would like to check that out. And this fight's been kind of snake bitten, guys. Did you know it's already planned twice and it's been postponed twice?
Yeah, Virgil hasn't been active in a while.
Yeah.
But this fight,
Yeah.
with this opponent,
Huh?
With this opponent?
Yeah. So the first time it was set in this March. It was this past March, but Staniones had to have an appendectomy. Wasn't it? That's it. An appendectomy. He had to have an appendectomy, and then they rescheduled it for April. And then Ortiz got this crazy disease or condition called and I'm gonna butcher this too, rhabdomyolysis. And it's like he trained so hard that his muscles got damaged, and it released proteins and electrolytes into his bloodstream. And apparently this is really dangerous. Like people end up disabled because of it.
Yeah, it sounds pretty dangerous.
Yeah, seriously, like your muscles like are secreting things that they need.
That they need. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're bleeding out into your bloodstream.
Right. And it like damages your kidneys and your liver. It was a really serious situation. And he got this condition twice.
So is something going on with his diet, like, or he needs to start getting IVs?
Yeah, so he did. What's funny is that he went to some doctor in California, and apparently the doctor said, well, also Ortiz has caught COVID 3 times, but he continued to train while he had COVID.
That's a terrible idea.
Right, exactly. And the doctor said, well, he has long COVID, and the long COVID is making the stress that he's putting his body under when he trains. It's like making it worse. And then while he's, your muscles are supposed to rip, right, whenever you're working out. Well, I guess it made that worse, and it like pushed it to the limit where it actually damaged his muscles. So they flushed him out with IVs, and they gave him some treatments with the oxygen mask. They put him on that, and they flushed his system with a lot of fluids and some antioxidants. And supposedly he had some levels in his bloodstream that were way out of whack. They got those levels down to normal now. Ortiz is saying he hasn't felt this good in like 2 or 3 years. So hopefully everything is good with him and we don't have any more setbacks and he's not putting himself in any additional danger with this fight. But this is definitely going to be an interesting fight. Any thoughts on, have you guys heard of Stanionis or seen him?
No, I'm actually interested in him now, especially with that punch combination.
Oh, you got to check it out. It's really, I'm like, you lead with the left hook with the body. Too. Yeah, and it lands.
The body into, I was like, that sounds really nice. That's a nice
your natural exactly. And then boom. He's really quick with it too. So, yeah, it's really interesting. Earl Spence, actually, I heard him say he really likes this fight as well before it got postponed. He was like, I like this fight. And they were like, Stanionis, Ortiz is going to kill him. And Earl's like, nah, be careful with that. Stanionis can fight. So that's what made me look him up. And I was looking at this guy. I'm like, wow, Earl's right. This guy's got some skills. News in the heavyweight division.
Okay.
Danielle. Apparently Andy Ruiz, and this isn't confirmed, this is kind of rumor, this is the rumor mill, but Ruiz has negotiated himself out of the Tyson Fury fight.
How?
Apparently his financial demands were too high.
Yeah, because of the divorce. His wife was taking him to the cleaners. He got busted cheating, and there's proof. So, and then it's California.
It's an ugly situation.
It's an ugly situation. He's getting taken. He doesn't even have a home. They kicked him out. He's going through it, man. I think the worst thing that happened to Ruiz was winning that heavyweight title, man.
Is that a quote from Rocky? Is that a quote from Rocky?
No, I don't think so.
That's a quote from Rocky. No, that's Mickey talking about the worst thing that happened here, spinning that damn belt.
Well, yeah, because Jesus, this guy's life has just been a tailspin, and he's not playing, but he's buying shit. He's like not working out. He has a fucking crew of a bunch of dudes he pays for. He's sleeping with a bunch of women. He went to go fight Fat for $50 million in Saudi.
Yeah.
Got his ass kicked. Then he looked like shit with Areola. But he looked good against King Kong, but
Ortiz.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good performance. They should never.
That was good, but after that he can't get his life together, man. He's just messing up too much, and man, that's a tough one for him because I've always said, man, the strongest love is homeboy love, and that guy's been with his homegirl since they were young, and young Chicanos, that homeboy love, it's everything, and that's
the high school sweetheart.
That's young homeboy love. Listening to oldies. The Smokey Robinson and the Cholo, and the little Cholo.
No llores, vato.
Yeah.
He's
you know
supposed to
that
pull
shit.
up in a cruiser, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that
Yeah.
look, man.
Arm
There's
around your
no,
girl,
there is,
arm around
there
your
is,
sweetheart.
there is no doubt about it. Ortiz is all about that culture. The old riders, your Jaina, your chick, your Ruka. That shit's affecting him hardcore. It's really bad. His wife is getting on social media, on YouTube, talking about all of his like crazy shit that she's busted him with. It's getting bad for him. It's getting bad.
Nothing like a
Well,
woman's porn, man. Listen,
Yeah, yeah.
play for the
fellas out
family.
there, respect that. Respect that. Hell hath no fury
Dude,
like a woman's
And she
scorn.
had
That's
5
right.
of your kids.
I know.
And you
Yeah,
do this
and
to me now that you're
yeah,
rich. When you was broke, I was with you.
Yeah,
Now you rich out here
yeah,
with these chicks.
yeah. He
that's
could.
dirty. That's a character flaw, man. Like,
And you
that
know, he loves
limelight reveals you in more ways than one. Yeah, you get
big
more
time.
exposure, but everybody gets to see the deeper parts of you as well. Sometimes, and you don't have to let it go that way, but man, that's just tough.
Yeah,
Got married. You know what I mean?
Huh?
He everything took off. He signed that large contract with the Zone.
yeah.
Got married.
That
Yeah.
dude, that dude spent money before he even got the money because he didn't make a lot of money when he fought. He was a fill-in when he won the heavyweight title. Remember, he had like 3 weeks to get ready.
Yeah,
And
because Jarrell
and he
Miller.
didn't get paid. Yeah, he didn't get paid
Right.
too much, but then he started buying Humvees and freaking chains and eating everything inside. I mean, Jesus, like that. And then then
And
he got
well,
paid, and he was already in debt. When he got paid the 50 million to fight in Saudi, he already owed a lot because he was borrowing money to live the lifestyle of a heavyweight, but he didn't have that heavyweight money yet.
that's too bad, man. Well, then he shouldn't been trying to break the bank with this Fury fight, and
Yeah.
he should have played a little bit nicer then, because who are the options now, right? Like,
Yeah. Well, I don't see.
who's on the horizon for him?
Oh, for
Option,
Fury,
yeah.
he fight
No,
Josh
for Ruiz.
Ruiz. I don't know.
Yeah. See, exactly. Like he's not gonna get another big fight like that. He's gonna have to win one or two smaller, lower profile fights in order to be brought back in that conversation. Like,
Because
honestly,
Wilder's going on to somebody else, right?
yeah. Oh, so there you go. And he's probably burned that bridge as well because him and Wilder were negotiating.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That is
And
right.
he booked on Wilder to lock down Fury.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
now Wilder, I think, is fighting Joshua. Isn't that going to happen?
Who?
What,
They're talking.
They're talking about it, yeah.
That, Danielle.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I think we know how it's going to end.
Yeah, crossover and a right hand.
Yeah.
Hit with a cross and come back and punch him in the face. Josh is gonna have all his biscuits all over the ring.
Oh, biscuits. Culture wars now. Is that what we're doing? Culture wars. All right. Well, I don't know, man. We'll see. Yeah, I think you're right because I heard something about that happen in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
They're throwing big money at them, but they want a doubleheader. They want to throw down big money for, I believe, Wilder and Joshua, and then also Usyk Fury. Is that right? Do they want to do them both on the same card?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk. The Saudis got endless money to do whatever. That Prince over there he does anything for entertainment. He loves it, man.
Yeah, I mean, that would be amazing if that were to be pulled off. But yeah, it's probably not going to happen. We'll see, though. We always hear about fights happening over there, right? And
yeah,
what has happened so far? Only really one's gone down. Joshua and Ruiz, the rematch.
Didn't Buttigieg fought on that card, right?
Buttigieg on the rematch?
Yeah. No, not a rematch. On fought on. It was in. I believe it was in Saudi. No, it was in Dubai. Never mind.
Dubai. That's right. It was Dubai. I think so. We got one more little tidbit to talk about, and that's Regis Prograis. Any Regis Prograis fans here?
Yes, sir, man. Thank God. Finally, he deserves it, man. Now he's gonna start making some money. He's been in it for a long time. He's a very strong fighter. He's really one of those guys that has just taken the hard road. He really deserves it. He's gonna see some money. I'm pretty sure he's got some type of a little bit of a signing bonus. He's out of Houston. I know that he trains in. You might know this. Danielle, he trains at some place called Main Gym.
Oh, Main Street. Main Street Gym.
Yeah, Main Street Gym, and they got nothing but killers out there. He's with that other kid that from Orange, Texas. That's his stablemate, the one that won the title against Ray Vargas in San Antonio. That big upset. He was like,
what was that guy's
he's
name?
from Houston. He was Houston's. He was all over the Houston Chronicle and everything for a whole weekend about a month ago. What was his name?
I'm looking him up right now. I remember that.
Those
Yeah,
guys
that
at
dude.
Main
I did
Street,
not see that
those
coming,
guys-
man.
those guys at Main Gym.
Shacky Foster.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shockey. Yeah.
Yeah, you got him. You got Regis.
Yeah, but they put Shockey on the shelf. Like Shockey was, Shockey's always been like somebody that has always been in the mix, but like Shockey, WBC put him on the shelf for a while, and like Shockey just stayed active. He kept fighting. Like the first time I ever saw like him fight, but I've heard him fight before is on what was it called? Is it called? It wasn't Ringside. It was a thing that NBC was doing.
Yes, I saw it. It was during the pandemic, right?
Yeah, I was
it during the pandemic?
Yeah, and they set the rings
something
up
USA, Ring USA.
Oh yeah, something like that. Ring City,
USA.
Yeah, I was like the first time I saw like Shockey fight, I was like, this kid is actually really good. I don't think everyone's like, ignoring him, but he
shocked me.
No, Shockey's good. He's really good. He's a good
All
boxer.
the guys at that gym. That gym is known. I mean, they have nobody but like 10-0 fighters and up contenders. Regis and him, both of them have traveled the hard road. I mean, we were talking about it earlier. The guy was promoted in his first fight by me and you, Dave. Talking about a long road. We didn't even have the ring up for this poor guy. But definitely he deserves it, man. I'm really happy for him. We affectionately call him Mijo. Every time we see him fight. Imagine if we would have stuck with that guy.
Well, he wanted the tape of our first. I interviewed him right after the fight, and he wanted the tape of that, or he wanted the link to the article about the fight too. So he was really interested in like that. It's my first fight, but I ended up losing the contact info, and it's a bad move. The first year teacher that time, so it was like. First year is the worst year, people say whenever you teach. So shout out Teachers Appreciation Week, by the way. Shout out to all the educators out there.
Teachers. My dad was a teacher.
Who?
Okay.
Yeah, my father was a teacher.
So right. Respect. So yeah, I totally botched that one. What grade? I'm sorry, ADD.
Oh, sorry.
What grade did you teach?
I started junior high school.
Wow.
He was at PS 57 for like, I don't know, 20 years, 25 years.
That's a tough age group.
Yeah, but also like Bed-Stuy in like the 90s.
Oh man. Respect.
But good news for Regis, man. That's
no, yeah. And I think this sets up some. Well, it was interesting. What do you guys think of this? He had two contracts, Top Rank and DAZN. Well, Matchroom. They were kind of not bidding against each other, but they were offering Regis opportunities. Top Rank was going to give him like a 4 or 5 fight deal. DAZN, Matchroom was a 3 fight deal. Top Rank, if you guys know, they have a lot of 140 pounders signed under their banner. Matchroom, not so much. So a lot of people are kind of criticizing Regis right now for not going to Top Rank because you have Teofimo Lopez, Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez, and Barbosa. I think it's Barbosa Jr. And who else? Pedraza, Jose Pedraza. I think, yeah, he's at 140 as well. So they have these fights all for lined up, these 140 pounders, and they're all, top 10 contenders, and and of course Taylor is considered the undisputed champ. But Regis kind of says these guys aren't, like, a lot of these guys have one fight deals left. Like, they have one fight on their deal left with Top Rank. So there's no guarantee that he's even going to get them. So how do you guys feel about that? Do you think Eddie Hearn can work some magic and start to get Regis some of these fights?
Oh yeah. And
Eddie
he's going to get them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Eddie has the money and he pays people.
He does, right?
Yeah, Katie Taylor, I think he signed just like a $5 million contract, the biggest female contract ever. Yeah, everyone's trying to figure. I made my first 100,000. Yeah, Katie Taylor is signed to $1 million with Eddie Hearn. Like, what are we talking about here?
we need to get that. We need to get Katie Taylor money.
Right.
We gave. So I think we gave Regis like $50. I think
cash.
When we were.
Wait, what?
We did it.
50
cash.
We used to give $600 a fight. We did $600 everybody across the board. Main event, maybe a towel, maybe a towel.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
One rack. Hey, man. Well, those are the breaks, right? Like those are kind of the struggle stories you hear a lot when the fighters start. They don't start making that big money. You have to be like a Sugar Ray Leonard. Remember, he got like 40,000. We're talking about 80s, right? Yeah, like early 80s. Got $40,000 for his first fight. And Aaron Pryor, who was also a highly touted amateur fighter, he got like $300.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible. Well, yeah, I mean, when you hear about that, you're like, damn, he got how much?
$300.
Hey, think about how far this guy's come, David. We did this fight in 2011 at a skating rink in Katy, Texas, dude. And now he's signing to match for millions. And
two belt. He held two belts.
Right? Yeah, and
at 140 before.
But he was still kept at a lower. Like, he was still. I don't know if he had good handlers. He was breaking into the scene.
Yeah, and he was with DeBella, I think, for a little while. DeBella is no joke, right? Like, he's a decent promoter.
He's a very good promoter.
Right.
Like, he got, what was it, the Triller card that he fought on? Was it the Triller card or was it I forgot, but they ended up, no, it was a Jake Paul card. He made like $800,000 on that card.
Wow. Damn, that's more than 600.
Yeah, and then the fight he most recently had, and for some reason, they stated that, the check hadn't cleared.
Yeah, it was $1 million. He got $1 million, right?
Damn.
Or 2? Was it 1 or 2 mil? Something like that. But that was a good fight. A very dangerous fight. And I agree. I don't know why Regis, people are not clamoring to like promote this guy. Like, he'll fight anyone. He has an entertaining style. He's Mr. Dependable. Like, he doesn't get into trouble. He's just all about his boxing career, and he's a really well-spoken dude. Like, and he knows a lot about the sport and the history of it. Like, he's a great spokesman for the sport. I don't know why he doesn't get, I don't know, like, just a bigger push. But I think Hearn recognizes it, sees that potential, and Regis is really smart too. He was asked, like, why don't you go to 147? He says, because I see the future at 140. Haney's coming up. And this was before Lopez came up. Lopez is going to come up. Tank eventually. Josh Taylor's still there. Subriel Martinez.
There's a lot of fights.
Subriel Martinez. You guys know about that guy? Subriel Martinez, the 140-pound, I think he's IBF.
No, I haven't heard of him.
That dude's a killer. I'm sorry, literally. He killed somebody in the ring. Yeah, no, he
actually killed somebody.
He actually killed somebody in the ring. That was poor choice of words. I'm sorry, but it's a reminder, like, this sport is dangerous. Like, it's a very serious. But yeah, he had someone died from the injury sustained in a fight. And but this guy he keeps coming. And you know what's also cool? He trains in Mexico.
What part?
I don't know, but his trainer's Mexican. I gotta look it up. I'm sorry, I didn't have that info down, but I know he trains in Mexico, and they asked him why, and he says because it keeps him out of trouble. Because apparently he's from a real bad, part of the island in Puerto Rico, and he stays away from those negative influences. He just trains in Mexico. He says, I don't know anybody. I'm in the mountains. It's a very monk lifestyle. So that guy is like a serious threat to anyone. And I think him and Regis, if they were ever to meet in the ring, wow. Talking about fight of the year, probably.
What about Adrian Broner?
He signed with Don King. Can you believe Don King is still around?
He didn't even show up to his press conference.
YouTube. He has no YouTube, boxing promotion.
What?
He has his YouTube boxing promotions like King TV or King Boxing TV or something.
Don King does?
Did you hear about what happened? They had a fight recently, and Adrian Broner didn't even show up to the press conference. He didn't show up to the weigh-in. He didn't show up to anything. He just took Don King's money and didn't do shit with it. And they found him drunk in Vegas.
No, man.
The release was supposed to. They were supposed to. What was the last biggest fight in Vegas? Oh, the Ryan fight. During that weekend, they had the press conference to Adrian Broner's next fight, and he just took Don King's money, got drunk in Vegas. They couldn't find him. I don't know what's going on. There's going to be some fights between him and Don King. Yeah.
Well, he has another fight set up for June 9th. It's still on BoxRec.
For who?
But,
that's the one with Don King. That's the one.
Bill Hutchinson.
Yeah, Bill Hutchinson showed up, and he didn't. And now Don King didn't show up either because Don King knew Adrian Broner wasn't going to show up, and nobody told this poor dude. And he got there, no reporters, he's there, and there was no Adrian Broner. This happened during the Ryan Garcia fight. You can look it up. Everybody said it's hilarious, man. And then they have pictures of Adrian Broner that weekend with his girlfriend, just drunk. Yeah, AB, man. I like AB, man. I don't care what anybody says. That guy was good for TV.
He was, man. But there's another side to that, right? Like, clearly something's off, and you just hope that it doesn't delve into something like tragic,
Yeah.
But yeah, Broner was a character. It's kind of one of those what would have been if he had played it straight, because the guy had talent. Like at 135 and 130, he had skills.
There was a point where he was untouchable, man.
Huh?
There was a point where he was pretty untouchable, but he ran into.
They were calling him Baby Floyd.
Maidana. Yeah,
that was it. That was the beginning of the end.
That was the beginning. I was at that fight, bro. Hey, I was there in San Antonio when that went down. Yeah. I saw that shit, and I remember. I liked Maidana back then, and I liked Broner too. I was a fan, so I was just hyped for a good fight. And when I saw Broner clowning a lot, I was kind of like, "Oh, come on, you got to take this serious. Like, you want to clown like lesser people, fine, like, but take this guy serious, bro. This is a monster in there." And wow, you talk about. If there was any event in his professional career that kind of made him go down the path, it was that night. Because not only did he get beat up, but he got embarrassed. He had the tables turned, like literally turned against him. He got humped.
I think he broke his jaw, right? They broke his jaw or something.
Yeah, it was bad.
He got humped.
He wanted the rematch. To his credit, because you got to give credit to AB. He wanted the rematch, and Floyd. He said, he said this. I wanted the rematch. They wouldn't let me take it.
It's expensive. Like, that's an expensive mistake you made. Like, that's millions of dollars out the window because you don't take it seriously. If I just want a rematch, you know how much production costs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not even supposed to be here right now.
Right.
Just running back.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, the guy is a fighter at heart. And, he had the skills, but I think his window was 130, 135, maybe 140. But at 140, like, you had to get real serious about the craft because there are some big hitters. One thing, that 5-pound difference is huge from 135 to 140 because you got guys that should be fighting at welterweight that are cutting down to get to 140. And the jump from 135 to welterweight, that's it's what math teacher here, 12 pounds, right? Like, that's a huge jump. You're talking about and that's 12 pounds of muscle. So every pound means a lot in those lower weights. So his window was at 130, 135, and he did what he could at it. But hopefully AB is in a good spot. He's going to be okay. They still have it up on BoxRec, so
probably still gonna happen. But I feel like that's a good resume builder for Regis. Like, just to keep having the name, staying active. If nobody comes up, you can fight. You can fight AB because AB sells tickets. The guy's ridiculous.
Regardless, yeah.
Yeah, he's great. He's great for ticket sales. He's great on the road. He has great little clips. He can be a little ridiculous, and then in camp you'll see him. He's like 160, like
there'll be a buzz, right? It's kind of a train wreck, honestly, because if he goes in the ring against Regis, he's gonna need about 3 or 4 fights before he goes to Regis. Regis is gonna hurt that man.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Regis can get a belt.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I think Regis is already like, I'm past Broner. That was a discussion fight, maybe 2 years ago or a year ago.
Yeah.
Right after that Triller fight you mentioned, that was he was calling for AB. I remember that.
He's still there,
Yeah. You would still want to see that?
Listen, I like AB. I like AB. I know for a fact that it's going to listen, nothing else. Out of pure muscle memory, AB's going to fight.
Yeah, he will. He will. And I always heard that the guy trained hard. When it was time for camp, he was one of the hardest workers you would see in the gym. So I just feel like maybe the love is not there anymore. And if your heart's not in it, your mind's not in it. Boxing is more of a mental thing, right? Like, you always hear it's always in the mind. And if his mind's not on it, like, look, the guy went to go party instead of go to his press conference.
Yeah, I think that was maybe, I don't know, man. I think maybe him and Don, he just wanted to take Don King's money and piss it off, just to be an ass, maybe. I don't know. But I know that there was a problem because Don King was so pissed off, he didn't even show up.
Bro, if there's one promoter you don't want to mess with, isn't it Don King?
Yeah, but I don't think he's even.
Talk about killing. Didn't he kill somebody too?
Yeah, in Cleveland.
Right? All the people that his connections are all.
They're all gone.
Yeah, that's the type of guy. Yeah, he
They're
killed
retired.
The dude.
They're all old.
He killed the dude on the street, broad daylight, and he only did 3 years in prison in Cleveland because he was connected to the mob or shit.
Only 3 years? I would want to do a day in prison, okay?
But for killing a dude, he should have done at least. He should have gotten 20
more time. Yeah.
Yes. And
so that's how connected he was back then.
Yeah, he got 3 years for like manslaughter.
Yo, you ever hear the joke about? Sorry, we're kind of going off on a tangent, but why Don King keeps his hair like that? Y'all never heard that? This is from Burt Sugar.
To hide the horns?
To hide the horns.
Yeah. I heard that. Yeah. To hide his horns, man.
To hide his horns.
All right, man. All right, well, I think we're about done here.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's all I got for news and notes. It was a good wrap up. Man, it's fun. Look at this. We did an hour. We were trying to condense the video again, and we had.
No, but we got good stuff, and we really appreciate you.
It's always.
We appreciate you, Danielle. We appreciate you.
Yeah,
I'm free on Fridays.
Huh?
Yeah, Yeah, well, that's pretty much when we want to do them because Fridays is good because pretty much all the time fights are on Saturday. Actually, there's a fight tonight. There's some women's boxing tonight in some other country. I'm gonna check it out.
All right.
What is it on?
I'll find out right now because I got. No, it's not.
See, Mark gets all the free channels because he's in South Texas. And he's on the border with Mexico, so
yeah,
we get some of those international feeds.
Yeah. Look,
on this TV, as the rest of us are like,
yeah, exactly.
I got the Chicano antenna. Let me see events. Yeah, there's a fight tonight. There's these girls fighting, and they look pretty rowdy yesterday in the weigh-in.
Oh,
that's good.
You got a name?
No, I don't. I usually just go to my pay-per-view free channel crap and start looking for them.
Hey, you gotta blur that out, brother. You can't announce that on the stream.
I just saw these girls, and I don't know what country they're from, but they look really mad at each other in the weigh-in. And this looks like I'm gonna find it tomorrow.
And Danielle, just to let you know, I'm a pay-per-view buyer. I buy events that I plan to watch because I like to support. I'm trying to put money in fighters' pockets. You know?
I bought every single one of our, and look, when we refer to this man, we are going to refer to him like this on this channel. I bought every single one of Grammy-nominated Oscar de la Hoya's fights. That's how we refer to him. Grammy-nominated, baby. What other boxer was Grammy-nominated than our hero, David? Our hero.
Latin Grammy-nominated.
Oh, wow.
It's still a Grammy.
Category. No shade. Sorry, no shade.
I don't feel any kind of way.
In this household, we do not listen to Shakira because she beat him with an unplugged album. No original music on an unplugged. How do you beat Oscar on an unplugged?
That kind of says it all, bro.
Oscar has some great. Yeah. Fucking Shakira.
It kind of says it all, Mark. She didn't need to put out a whole album to actually get the Grammy from him.
True.
Well, none of us three here are gonna ever listen to Shakira. We banned Shakira for Oscar.
I'm a fan. Wait, what? Nah, Danielle, you got to give her a chance.
I'm okay with that, Mark. I'll never listen to her again.
Yeah, man. USA boxing.
Who should get up like
together?
Whoever she is, she's done.
Yeah, whoever she is. Hey, her and Oscar are USA boxers, man. Yeah.
Got to stick together.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm out.
All right, Danielle, good to see you again.
Thank you. Y'all have a good weekend.
All right, Katie Taylor next week, y'all. Remember.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.